Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. This is Alex of Apocalypse.Intelligence, and I am here to talk to you about individualized targeted propaganda, also known as your wonderful internet algorithms that you find on all of your social media, your YouTube, your music apps, especially your TikTok, your Facebook, that sort of thing. Right now, we're living in weaponized times. What that means is that your algorithms are probably not designed to help you. Now, this, of course, is well known, but let me get into some specifics that you might not know about this. In great times of instability, where they're trying to provoke, well, basically a large depopulation event, one of those ways they try to provoke depopulation is by promoting despair in the general populace. Songs that are going to increase you in upset, exacerbating, bad times, reminding you of, bad breakups or, deaths or whatever have you, when you're looking at your social media feed, things that are meant to elicit emotion. When you're thinking, there's a difference between opening your heart and being emotional, okay? You have to think to yourself, what is the purpose of this media? Another thing to be careful of is therapy media. Okay, so let's say, you're somebody who's undergone some trauma, that sort of thing. Let's say that you've been assaulted or something like that, and all you see is victim of assault, victim of assault, victim of assault. And you know what it does is it re-triggers you. It's like carving a channel through, if you think of like the Grand Canyon, that took one river to carve all that. That's the same thing with trauma. If you keep going over the trauma over and over and over again in a way that isn't productive forward as far as creating restorative justice, for example, then you're not going to get anywhere. You're going to talk a problem to death, but if there's absolutely no movement in resolving the problem or creating some sort of benefit from that problem, you're not going to get anywhere. So, for instance, I've been trained as a propagandist, clearly. Today, if you are watching this on the 15th of October, this is being filmed on the 14th of October, just barely, which is the birthday of my dead training partner, which seriously influenced my entire Inigo Montoya career. So I set up the videos on my feed in a very particular way. And I made sure to use videos that did not readily speak to him. I put in one or two, to make it really obvious, like, oh yeah, hey, this is the week that he both was born and he died. But I organized the videos in my feed, the little reels at the top, specifically so that they would mislead you. So that when you're looking through it, you're trying to pin it to other cases or that sort of thing. And then you get to the end and you get to Comfortably Numb and the Stephen Trask video of Hedwig standing in front of the mirror, a beautiful blonde person who's living through multiple ways of being identified. Well, my partner was alive, and, this is not a sexual partner. We were just friends. While he was alive, most people didn't know what he did for a living. He talked about dying a lot, but not in a suicidal way. He would say, Ren, when I die, wrap me up in a sheet, throw me in a hole. I don't want a big funeral. I don't want any of that. And he got the exact opposite. But the thing is this. We can either do nothing or do the same funeral over and over and over again, or we move forward with it and we use these mediums, we use our own grief, we use our whatever to encourage other people to speak out. He was a victim of murder. We can't say that he survived it. But one of the things that keeps me going is the oath that I have with him. And knowing for a fact, knowing his temperament, that if our positions were reversed, the world would be a far more interesting place because he had a lot more vengeance in him and a lot more stand up ability, well, assertiveness, the ability to be listened to, likability, and charisma than I'll ever possess. That's what happens when you join the 27 Club, I guess. We're never going to know what he would have been like if he made it till his 40s. We can see people who are trained like him. There's going to be always people that remind us of him, but it's not the same. And may you take from this lesson that you can't always profile people correctly, nor can you be profiled correctly in turn unless you allow people to tell you who you are. The way that you avoid profiling is you be the creator. Take a truth and you go from there. Don't let other people define you with parameters that are not true. If you find that there's something incorrect, correct it. Don't go off of a misconception, even if it's convenient socially. The best thing we could do right now is choose our environments online. Obviously, if you're watching this, you're online. Click out of videos, say not interested. Look up specific things that you're interested in. You know, I'm looking up a lot of music, specific songs, to right now is a low communication time. So some people can only communicate by mirroring through these Instagram memes. If something doesn't make sense, it's not directed at you. Because for the people it's directed to, it's perfectly clear. There are very few people that can see my wall in a civilian sense. My audience is mostly people that are not even going to register as numbers on my account. And those are exactly the people that my memes and everything is going to, because those people are my colleagues. And those people are my loved ones. And those people have sat through the same griefs, the same good times, and, the same tragedies that I have. For most of us have been together at least 10 years. We have some newcomers, of course. Allahu Akbar. But with that being said, Khoda Hafez, Assalamu alaikum, Auf Wiedersehen, and may Allah lead us to the straight pathway always. And one last thing, if you happen to be trained in Tasawwuf, if you are a Sufi, and yes, we're not going to tolerate the whole no Sufi says that they're a Sufi. That's Salafi, hadith-based nonsense. That's cultural and religious genocide. If you're if you're somebody who is training somebody on the Sufi pathway, please mention that to them. Don't let it come to, somebody sitting in a library, going over their Persian and Arabic lessons to do a lesson by lesson comparison with somebody being trained in Braucherei and finding that, well, it's primarily the same training. And that training, whether you go through Braucherei or Persian Sufism, is for intelligence. So, to better take care of the rest of you who would never, ever want to do what we do. Ameen.